What's up, everybody? I am back with another SmugAlana video, and this one is reacting to a Davy video about double standards. We'll get into it in just a moment, but please do me a huge favor and like this video, leave a comment below, follow SmugAlana's channel. I want to be sure to show support to whatever videos that I'm reacting to for the original content creator. Follow me on my channels, YouTube and Twitch, Talking of Carl, as I stream games, review content, and react to videos. So without further ado, let's check out SmugAlana / Davy.
He must have deserved it. Jesus Christ. We need to talk about the everything is Ben's fault problem.
I am so done with this motherfucker, y'all. I'm so done with this motherfucker. Look at this. My damn game. I'm in a damn. What? What? What my PS5 got to do with us?
Comments.
Oh my god, man. You know what's fucked up? She took it apart so that the equipment would like get even more wet, because like if you just dunk it in there, it might actually not, like, you know, break. I'm thinking to myself, like, that's like $600-700, man.
My PS5 got to do with us.
Comments read,
man.
oh, you've been cheating. Now tell the people what you did. She was just washing it for you.
Okay, that one's funny. That one's a little bit funny. Like, she was just washing it for you, cuz.
Slapping.
Now, he'll be in the wrong if he puts her freaking face into the fucking wall for that stuff. Because you know how expensive these things are? Because women know inherently that they can't take men on in a straight up fight if there's an issue. So what they do, they attack something that we care about. Whereas video games or shoes or maybe our Pokemon cards, whatever the case may be, they will do something that will be extremely heinous and rely on the fact that we cannot put our hands on them so they can be able to get away with it. That is a problem that, you know, women need to address with other women. Don't think you're so protected where you think you can pull a stunt like that and not get any kind of consequence. If there was like a purge where once a year guys can unload any kind of problems and get at least one smack off a woman, there'll be a lot of women be on their very best behavior. Or if there is a grievance, they will handle it like an adult and not childish means, because that kind of stuff burns dudes. And we're just like, okay, keep in mind for next year, there'll be a lot of girls on their very best behavior and be more than willing to actually communicate rather than reaction after reaction and then try to justify, well, he should have, like, ignored me or whatever petty little thing that, you know, they feel scorned by.
My BF for no reason.
No, that's disrespectful. Any physical contact like that? No.
Her slap made him waked up. Girl, it's okay. I did the same thing.
Like, there's a difference between play fighting and smacking someone over the head.
Why do guys do that dramatic thing with their eyes? My boyfriend be doing that. For real.
For real,
yes,
for
he was being
real.
so dramatic responding to you slapping him upside the head multiple times for no reason. So dramatic. This says, I don't get jealous, I get insane.
I hate bitches like this. There was a girl at my work. She was obviously insane, but like I had to work with her, and sometimes she would just like say like the dumbest stuff, like, I have a new boyfriend, right? Tam, come get. I have a new boyfriend. Alana, come here. It's lunch break. We gotta talk about this. He doesn't pay attention to me, so I took his phone and like I broke it, and I'm just like, okay, did you get him a new one? No. And I'm like, that's not funny. And she's like, What do you mean it's not funny? And I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck, bitch? What's wrong with you? Obviously, not all girls are like this, but there's definitely some crazy hoes out there. Yeah, like, you have to work with them, and obviously you can't, like, tell them what the fuck to do, but, like, the stories I heard were, like, fucking crazy. I see this, like, all the time. If I drive into town, there's always someone's car that got keyed. And you know it's not just, like, a side swipe, it's someone getting their car keyed because it's all over the car. I see this, like, in the city pretty frequently. If I visit, I see at least one parked car that has something like this happen to them.
Caption reads, 10 pounds and I'll do your exes as well.
Oh, defacing property? That's a knife. I mean, it's the same principle, man. Like, you're keying the car.
Like I said, with these overreacting women, and I'm talking about overreacting, not sensible women. I'm talking about the overreacting women that think like, oh, I was emotional, that are healthy adults that can manage their own emotions, react like this. I guarantee you there'll be very less of it if guys have that one time out of the year to go upside a girl's head. I'm pretty sure they'll think twice about leading with their emotions wherever they, feel like, oh, this will get him back. They'll think twice. Not that I'm advocating for it. I'm just saying that this, and a girl who keys a man's car will use whatever excuse imaginable to rationalize that behavior. Down to the, oh, I was my time of the month crap. It's like, because guys don't get that excuse. Like, oh, Your Honor, I slammed her head into the car window because it was my time of the month. Doesn't work that way, does it? It's like, even if you caught him in bed with another woman or something like that, you keying his car isn't a get back. You sleeping with his brother or a cousin isn't a get back. It just makes you look stupid. Being the reasonable, rational thing to do, if he does something that you can't abide by, either leave the person or have a talk like a healthy adult. This stuff is very much immature. And people say like, oh, we're immature faster than boys. And you got crap like this.
You're damaging the car. Isn't that a crime? Yeah, and she filmed it and posted it on the internet for everyone to see.
Don't react this way for nothing. We accept this. 10 pounds? I'll give you 50 pounds, girl. I see no problem here. This used to be me. I miss those days. Love this. Go, girl.
I miss being a schizo bitch. Whoa.
Finally, my people. This isn't insane, by the way. Do you do weddings? When's your next availability?
That's insane. I can't see your screen from here anymore.
Hi guys, I'm so excited because I'm gonna go key my ex's car in like an hour. If all of you want to see me key his car, it's actually his truck, but I just woke up and I decided I wanted to key it. I'm wearing this pajama set that I just got from TJ Maxx because it's so cute and girly and like.
Wait, you're going out in public in your PJs? That's fucking weird. Like, car keying aside.
If he sees me, I want to look hot, so I'm keeping my makeup on. My hair's a little wavy because, yeah, if he sees me, I just need to look good. It's 8 o'clock right now, and I'm probably going to go at like 8:45 whenever it's darker so that I don't get caught on the Ring doorbell. Because then there's no proof that I did it.
Oh, you're worried about
I don't have like a ski mask or anything.
You're worried about getting caught, but you're going to post on the internet about doing it. Yeah, bitches be trifling, man.
Also, like I said,
this is probably not a good idea.
Wear a ski mask. So yeah, follow if you want to see me in Kia's car. The video should be up in like an hour and 20 minutes.
Your full name.
And see, some of these dumb bras don't think. This is like a perfect example of leading with your emotions. That you decide to make a story about it on your social media platform. Say your full name, admitting to the premeditated crime at hand. And then I bet you she'll act shocked when the cops come haul her in. and then watch her pouring the crocodile tears in front of the judge, and she'll get like at most a light sentence for defaming a car and brazenly making a TikTok about it beforehand, clearly showing premeditation, not like a crime of passion kind of situation. But girls mature faster than boys, though. And then there'll be people out there, clearly from the little comment posts, all like applauding this, encouraging this, instead of the vast majority of women need to condemn it. Stop trying to be a girl's girl. You can't be for a woman committing active crime all because some dude probably was being stupid. There's no rational, like, even if he does something heinous like cheating, it's still, that is not a legitimate excuse to key his car. Beat an adult, talk with him, say this is over, and move on. But no, you clearly still want to be with him. You just want him to feel some kind of sting in some kind of way. You want your pound of flesh in some kind of way. This is what happens when like you kind of take away kind of guardrails away from women because they get entitled. Some of them act a straight up fool. And some of these girls, some, not all, but some of these girls need a belt to ass moment. And I ain't talking about the fun way either. Just to remind them the pecking order between like men and women. I don't care how justified you feel in that moment. There's a way to do these things. If he's done something that crosses the line or your boundary in some kind of way, talk it out like an adult, or leave the person and move on. You defaming it doesn't make you a superhero. God, it makes you crazy, and you post it, it makes you stupid.
I'm gonna take my and I think this is a cute king car outfit. It's not a car.
We need
It's
to
just
bring back a
I don't know why I
song,
keep
bro.
saying car.
LMAO, I like you, you're funny. My first impression, and I look up to you. There is a unique phenomenon where whenever something bad happens to a man, society's knee-jerk reaction seems to be, well, what did he do to deserve it? There is this automatic presumption that no matter what happened to him, no matter...
Hold on a second. Sorry, gotta check something. Alright, sorry. Had to double check something really quick. Alright, back to the video.
how horrible, he must have done something to bring it on himself, especially if a woman is involved. After all, women can't possibly cause harm in relationships.
Well, yeah, because women are also paraded around as the gender that's weaker and can't physically hurt men, and that's why domestic violence that happens to men is less likely to be reported. That's another key factor. Yeah, like, that's just kind of how it is. Society do be like that.
No, the man must have done something to make her act
Yeah,
that
she's
way.
just crazy.
And it's not just
she
in
got triggered.
relationships. If a man gets laid off or loses his job, well, he must have effed up somehow. But especially...
You know what fucking sucks? This also kind of just reminded me of work. When I worked, and it was like in a female, like a heavily female space. Like, there was a couple men that worked there. But it was a mostly female space. And one time, they're like, I think my coworker like screamed at her manager. And they brushed it off. And this irked me a lot. They brushed it off and said something like, oh, well, she's just on her period. And I'm like, what? What? You screamed at your manager? You should lose your job. Like if a man screams at their manager, they lose their job. But it's like, if a girl screams at their manager, it's like, oh my god, she's just being a girl, sweetie. It's like, no, you should control yourself. I don't give a fuck if you're on your period. If a bitch screams at me and then her excuse is, oh, I'm on my period, I'm smacking her back. Like, the fuck do you mean?
I'll smack the
I don't
period
give a
out you.
fuck if you're on your period. That's not an excuse. You're just acting like a bitch.
with relationships. If there's a divorce, he must have been a dog shit husband. And don't even get me started on
Because
false...
women don't like accountability. They'll use any excuse they can think of. Oh, my hormones is out of whack. Oh, I didn't eat. Oh, I was hangry. Oh, I'm on a period. Oh, I was having a bad day. Oh, my car got towed. Oh, it's like my man cheated on me. Oh, my mom sucked. Oh, like my dad wasn't around. Oh, like my car's boyfriend like didn't love me the right way. Oh, like I had a bad childhood. Oh, it's like every excuse imaginable. Instead of taking accountability, it's like, maybe I should just check my emotions at the freaking door. Maybe I should like handle my business and stop being like a whiny little cunt every once in a while. Maybe I should like behave myself like a rational adult when I'm with other rational adults. If something bothers me, I take a minute to breathe instead of react. Maybe if like something gets under my skin, I walk away and or at least talk it out like a rational adult. But if I can't talk it out, I just separate myself from the situation before it escalates. That's what rational adults do. Guys don't get that excuse because we know there's danger involved. We try to do our best to mitigate risk, not escalate it. Too many women, not all, but too many women want to rely on every little excuse imaginable, down to the most benign thing like hormone imbalance, to justify just instead of just admitting, oh yeah, I just led with my emotions. My emotions told me I should just hit you, assault you essentially, or key your car because I did not care for how you made me feel, and this gives me justifications to react on it. I want my pound of flesh, but I can't take you on in a fight, so this is the best way I know how. Because I'm an immature little bitch. They can't say that, but they'll be honest. At least she wouldn't have relied on the title excuse like, oh, I'm on my period. Oh, he cheated on me, so it justifies my over-the-top reaction.
Allegations. Even when an allegation is proven to be demonstrably false, very rarely will that man ever see justice or even recover from the damage.
Yeah, a voice actor that I really, really liked in World of Warcraft, he played a lot of really cool characters. All of his voice lines got removed because he was accused of SA. He went to trial. He was found completely not guilty. Like, not even a shred of like, oh, well, maybe he did this bad thing, or like, he did this one little bad thing and all this. They removed it all, replaced him, and then he never worked there again. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't even, I don't know if he voice acts or not, but he pretty much got wiped off the face of the planet. Yeah, and it's like, what are we doing? Like, did he get a job back? Nope.
Of those allegations. People tend to just shrug their shoulders and say, oopsie, and move on and leave him to just pick
Rick
up.
and Morty had the same problem, but they found out that he was still being a fucking jackass. He was still horrible, I'm pretty sure, no? Like, yeah, he got accused of worse things, but then it came out that he still was a dickhead, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he was still, like, stalking and doing weird fucking shit.
up the pieces by himself. And so today I'm finally going to talk about it and address it. What is going on with this social reflex that kicks in
yeah, but
whenever a
stalking
man
isn't,
is hurt?
so
Why is it that
retard moot
instead
point.
of empathy, he just immediately gets interrogation? Why is it that instead of support, all he gets is suspicion? Why is it that no matter what, men are not receiving help? They're receiving moral audits. Because that's exactly what happened in a very specific incident that I want to talk about today that inspired this video topic. I knew I had to cover this when the other day I was just scrolling through threads and I came across a horrific image of a man with a massive black eye. And the caption read, "Goal for 2026, find a chick that can control her emotions." The implication being that this man suffered intense and aggressive intimate partner violence at the hands of a woman. Man. And what happened next made me just wanna...
I mean, you could see it with the Amber Heard shit. She would constantly fucking instigate and push Johnny, and then the entire time the trial was happening, they had to disprove every single point of her making, like, oh, well, Johnny's a horrible person. He started everything, and then it turned out he didn't do anything. Like, yeah, the guy's mentally ill, and he was, like, overworked, and she did do some, like, offhand shit because of his behavior of drinking and stuff, but he never, like, actually laid a hand on her until she started attacking him and stuff. Yeah, like, it was all, like, this, oh, I'm a victim, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, she shit in his bed and stuff. Yeah, like drugs and drinking aside, like, obviously, that's not great, but, like, he never did the things that she initially accused him of.
Introduce our video sponsor before we get into the story time. What did you think I was implying? My most unhinged segue yet. I am once again so grateful to have Anson Belt and Buckle sponsoring today's video. Anson Belt and Buckle or his username. Okay. And out of respect for him, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show the discourse that followed. If you're wondering why he doesn't want his information out there or the photos shown, abuse often escalates when a victim finally leaves, and it can get especially worse when that person seeks out help or support.
Yeah, they use blackmail and, like, threaten them and stuff. It's horrible.
So I'm not going to victim blame him for trying.
You know, this is kind of reminds me of what's going on with, like, Jerry O'Connell. Not to the same extreme, but the fact that he was on Bill Maher's podcast and he just voiced in, like, a jokey way that, oh, my wife and daughters nearly attacked me because I had my own opinions about how the Trump and Kamala election went down. Very benign, very, like, you know, blasé opinion that caused them to just get aggressive with me. And it's like, if it was, like, flipped, there will be police called to their house to question everybody involved. So it's just like guys just are just, you know, like deemed like the responsible party until something has to prove otherwise. It can't just be like a okay, neutral until like we figure out what's what. Like guilty until proven innocent. Instead of innocent until proven guilty.
To protect himself, because as you're going to quickly find out,
women just like freely assault men on a day-to-day basis, but because they're weaker sex, by comparison, kind of makes it like, oh well, it's not a big deal. No, we all understand it is a big deal. We all understand nobody should be putting their hands on anybody, but you know, it's just those double standards that's like live in infamy. That a woman can straight up jaw a guy unprovoked and nobody stops to stop her. It's like if a guy and is it like put it in a coffee shop setting. If you're in a coffee shop setting, plenty of people around, and then you see two people arguing. A couple, man and woman, and then a man just all of a sudden punches her full force in the jaw, lays her ass out. There'll be a crowd of dudes ready to stomp him the hell out and helping out the woman on her feet and then calling the cops. Holding the dude there until cops arrive for justice to be served. Now, that is a rightly so move to be made to deal with a threat like that. But imagine, rewind, but alternate timeline, two couples, the couple arguing, but this time the woman just all of a sudden punches the guy in the freaking jaw. Now, of course, it won't be as strong. She won't probably lay him out that same way, but clearly plain as day, full on force, with all her might, punches the dude straight up in the face. There's no crowd of women ready to jump the girl and hold her there until the cops come while consoling the man. That was just pretty much like be just bystanders, just looking on in horror. Maybe somebody at the coffee shop will call the police and to get somebody's statement. But will there be like a straight up arrest? I don't care if like the woman in that first scenario wouldn't want to press charges. It's irrelevant. It's still a full on assault that needs to be dealt with. But if a guy didn't want to pull any charges, they're like, oh well, he didn't want any charges. It's crazy. It's crazy.
The man has received enough blame already. Let's get right into this comment from Moonweaver's Garden. She says, "You sure about that, bud? Seems like you've got plenty of issues of your own to work out. You should look into reactive abuse. It may be very enlightening about your situation." There's more to her comments, but I'm going to pause here in case some of you have never heard of reactive abuse.
Man.
Reactive abuse happens when a person is...
Look, my rule of thumb is if you switch the genders and it still sounds really fucking bad, or even worse, then it's a fucking retarded argument. No, like, I hate this fucking thing, but I just hate this fucking stupid, these statements of, like, you should, like, look into reactive abuse. You probably deserved it because, like, she's lashing out at you. It's like, yeah, if the shoe was on the other foot, it still sounds fucking bad. How about that?
Just
pushed,
it's abused,
manipulated,
man. Gaslit, provoked so far that they react in a way that appears abusive, lashing out, screaming, maybe even throwing things. But the difference here is that this is so completely outside of their typical character, and they never would have done this without being pushed so far. And a lot of abusers thrive on pushing their victims to the point of reactive abuse because it gives them an excuse to point and say, see, I told you they were crazy. Now, reactive abuse is real, and punching someone in the face may be a reactionary response, but punching someone in the face is still assault. It is still illegal outside of self-defense, even if you felt provoked. With that said, let's read the rest of Moonweaver's
like in a court of law, if someone's yelling at you and saying nasty shit, you punching someone in the face is still what the court looks at as assault, because even if the person's provoking you, they're not inherently doing anything wrong. Unless it's like niche cases, I suppose, but still, like you can verbally assault someone, and it's still like on a pedestal higher if you put your hands on someone.
Thesis to see why she thinks that blatant violent assault was justified through the reactive abuse framework. She continues on, the abuse doesn't start when hands are put on each other. It starts with that emotional unpredictability and dishonesty. I'm sure substance abuse and hunting for bitches while in and freshly out of a relationship don't help either. Men definitely deserve to be lonelier. So here, I guess, to help with her little evidentiary hearing, she posts pieces of his Threads post history, specifically outlining 2 posts. The first one she highlights says, day 2 of not drowning my sorrows in vodka. So this must be the post in which she gathers enough evidence to accuse this man of having a substance abuse issue. Crazy though, because this context actually implies the opposite. It actually implies that he is interested in achieving sobriety. Whether you're on day 1 or day 100, intention.
What up, weeds? With the stuff that lasts up to 5 months. Spectricide, you hold the power.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business.
Sobriety deserves to be celebrated, first of all. But second of all, that post alone does not indicate or prove a long-term issue with substance abuse. Also, I'm sorry I have to keep censoring the word abuse. YouTube is just very, very strict about that kind of thing. It's not me. I would love to say words. Based on all of the other posts that she's cited, it's pretty clear that this man is just going through a depressive episode, likely because of his toxic relationship. Extensive research and empirical data continuously tells us that people who are experiencing intimate partner violence or domestic violence have a tendency to self-medicate. And this isn't an excuse or justification.
You know what's kind of funny? If you look up the stats, and it's proven in multiple studies that in terms of DV, the highest reported cases of DV is between lesbians, 2 women. The lowest being gay couples, 2 men. Now, a step up above 2 men is between like a man towards a woman. Above that is when a woman towards a man, and above that is the highest with two women. Goes to show that more often than not, women tend to be the more violent ones. It's like, it's not like people make always the excuse, or it's like the 1950s where men can do. I'm not saying that wasn't men assaulting women in history. Of course they were, but the men it seemed like it was like rampant. Is kind of like a fallacy. Men by and large don't like just ain't eager to like smack women on a daily basis. Men excuse me, men inherently are very benevolent species. Men by and large really don't like view women in a very negative light outside of very specific cases. We want to go about our day with less drama, which is the polar opposite to women who feed off of drama more often than not. So men by and large don't like wake up eager to find the nearest woman so they can just choke her out. It's like we don't have that like innate thing as some women like to paint us as.
You also don't know what this guy's going through. Maybe he has a history of like fucking dealing with this horrible stuff, and this is what's freaked up about psychology. It's that if you come from a place that comes from, God, I can't say the word without fucking constantly having to censor myself, but if you come from a bad place, sometimes what your brain does is that you want to keep seeking it out because that's all you know. So maybe this bitch may be crazy, but he's with her because he's dealing with her because that's all he knows.
But it's important to understand why this happens. Many survivors of trauma develop chronic stress reactions, and one widely recognized model, the self-medication hypothesis, suggests that these survivors are a lot more likely to use alcohol and drugs to try to dampen or numb these triggers, such as flashbacks, anxiety, and PTSD. Personally, I'm proud of this man for recognizing that he was developing bad habits, naming them, and then holding himself accountable publicly in a way that was basically asking for help. Not a lot of men have the bravery to do that. In fact, most men choose the route of just suffering in silence, which becomes
which is pretty normal for men because men are told to bottle up their emotions.
Or understandable when you see how many of them are just blamed and
men shouldn't bottled up their emotions. What men need to do is go to men that they trust, whether it's in a family or close male friendships, to express their emotions, because men understand men, we understand each other's strives, and we seek solutions and not just venting. You shouldn't go to women to express your emotions, because for too often than not, it is thrown back in our faces or is dismissed inherently, or we are viewed as weak. I don't care if like Jessica out on social media, a man can express to me, I don't look like you can say all you want to make yourself sound or look good, but in practice, too often, I ain't saying it doesn't exist, but too often women don't take men's problems well. They don't take their woes well. They are viewed as weak, maybe not up consciously, but subconsciously. It's like, this jeopardizes my potential safety if he's like blubbering or is anxious. Like it may maybe at first he'd be taking on like, oh, like I'm glad you opened up to me, but then next year might have a different reaction. It's too volatile. It's too unpredictable. Are there cases of women who can listen to a man's woes, not throw it in his face, still see him as a man? Sure, but they're on a very low scale by comparison to the vast majority of women who probably will be interacting way more often, who will view that as weak, or they'll be like second guessing the man, or will throw it in the guy's face at some point or another. Maybe not right away, but at some point in the future, that will be the case. Guys will need to figure out, okay, I might not want to roll the dice. I can't read this girl's mind. I can't tell if she's the kind of girl who will legit hear me out and not throw it in my face, or view me as weak or less of a protector if I express my emotions. So the best scenario is to not take that chance. Let her view me as a complete rock, and if I need to express something, I will go to my boys. I will go to my father or my brothers or male cousins who I can express some stuff that needs to get the weight off my shoulders a bit. Get that out. So as I return to my girl, I'm cleansed, I'm refocused, and she's none the wiser. Now you can say that it's like maybe not healthy. You might not use the word healthy or whatever, but it's like, oh, what do you think you have your girl there for? Yeah, to do other stuff, but she's not gonna. It's up to you as a guy, but more often than not, you can't trust it. I say you can't trust your girl, but you just can't trust her with certain things. She doesn't need to know how the sausage is made. She don't need to know every little thing, your ins and outs. She just needs to see you as a freaking superhero with maybe some flaws here and there. You're not perfect, but she doesn't need to know like you're crumbling under the pressure of the fact that, oh, my job might be downsizing and I might end up losing my job or something like that. She doesn't need to know that stuff. She needs to know that, like, let's say that is the scenario. The guy wisely will go to his boys, figure out some solutions, find some different avenue for revenue, and then when he's there or nearly there, then he'll come back to his girls like, hey, this is what's happening, but don't worry, I already got a job lined up. I'm going to be starting next week. Don't worry about it. And she might at first feel a little upset at the fact that you couldn't feel like you couldn't come to me. I'm your girl. You should always be able to come to me. She might feel a certain kind of way, but deep down or in the long run, she will appreciate it because she knows confidently that my guy will handle business. He knows how to pivot. Like, girls need to have that frame of mind. Not saying like, oh, you can't go to a girl with everything. Just, you gotta case by case basis with a guy. It all depends on what struggles you're dealing with and what level she's ready to hear. Let's say like you turn to like, those danger colors, like, oh, this is level green, yellow, level yellow, this is level red. Or, look at terms of numbers. Oh, if you know your girl well enough, you know that at the highest level, she's able to, you can divulge certain situations to her in a vulnerable state. She, at her highest, might be a level 6, but there's 7 through 10 that you know full well she's not going to be able to handle it, that you need to go direct to your guys about. So this is like, this is the highest you're willing to let her know or fill her in about certain things, first and foremost. But anything higher is like, yeah, you don't need to know all that stuff. You might not think that's cool, but I think that's rational. You cannot roll the dice on certain women like this. Are there a few women who can take it? Hey, I'm pretty sure there are. But we don't know until we cross that bridge. And guys are not willing to cross that bridge because as tough as it is out there for guys to try to find a rock solid girl. So the less chances we're willing to take to rock the boat or ruin the situation, because guys ain't drowning in vagina as much as you think we are.
Shamed the moment they choose honesty and vulnerability, as we're seeing here. And the next post.
What's that? What is this fucking thing? What's this saying? God, I lost my train of thought. Alana, that's not entirely true. Most states have the legal concept of fighting words, where the courts recognize that it's possible to say something so egregious that it legally justifies a violent response. Don't tell me semantics on states. It's all dependent in the court of law. Generally speaking, if you say, fuck you, bitch, that's not usually, like, yeah, sure, it's insulting, but it's not a good defense for like, oh, that's why I threw hands. It's all situational, it's all dependent, it is all up to fucking what state you're in too.
Here that Moonweaver has circled to
And what
imaginably
country
imply
even.
that this man kind of had it coming was this one that says, hunting for bitches at the club. Now listen, I'm not going to do a lot of heavy lifting to defend the legitimacy of such a post. I certainly
And
would not
screenshots,
recommend
too.
any of you guys to post such a thing. It's pretty crass and ugly at best, and dehumanizing and misogynistic at worst. I'd even venture to guess that he may have posted it to incite some kind of reaction. But to imply that it's offensive enough to warrant a black eye? If we punched each other over every offensive post we saw online, we'd just all be dead. I mean, you really think that posting hunting for bitches at the club on Threads is enough to warrant getting punched directly in the eye, potentially causing lifelong orbital damage?
And this is what you can't argue in a court of law. Like, you literally can't. Sir, he said he was hunting bitches at the club. Maybe he was quoting a song. Like, you literally can't check the intent either.
Damage and blindness?
It's retarded. It's a retarded argument.
In life, growth doesn't happen alone. But in business,
You fucked in the head? Like I said, it's an
Yes.
ugly thing to post, but let's dive even deeper into it. Because based on his other posts, I was assuming that they were either already broken up by that time, in the middle of their breakup, or had already been in some kind of completely unestablished situationship type thing. But let's go ahead and try to give as much possible charity to her claims that we can, and let's assume that they were in a completely monogamous relationship and he still chose to post that. Let's say he did full on cheat on her. And those of you who know me know that I hate cheating. And yet, you are still not selling me on the he deserved to get punched in the face argument. Because listen, I don't know if you knew this, but you're allowed to just simply break up with people when they post things you don't like. You're legally allowed to leave people who cheat on you. What you are not legally allowed to do is beat the brakes off of them.
If you leave my stream and stop watching me, Chad, I'm gonna hunt you down and punch you in the throat. For legal reasons, that is a joke, chat.
Because do you know how many women cheat on men every single day?
Not.
And I highly doubt you would be justifying any violence that occurred to them, as I would hope you wouldn't. But what she is implying from just 2 simple online Threads posts is that he must be a chronic alcoholic and a chronic in-person rage baiter, and so she just couldn't help herself. And to that I say, I just do not have enough evidence to make that same bad faith assumption. In fact, I actually went back 6 whole months on this guy's post history.
Oh my God!
Redacting all
She did
names
some
and faces
digging.
here, and it was literally only until very, very recently that any of his posts were even mildly dark and depressing. Prior to whatever hell on earth this relationship was, all of his posts were about how much he loved seeing his friends, traveling with his family, how much he loved going out and having a great time, loving life. He even posted wonderful things about trying his best to cater to protecting women as much as he possibly could. By all context clues I found, it really seems as though some demon entered his life and completely ruined him. But that's just my interpretation. Moonweaver and others clearly chose the most violent interpretation.
If a bitch has moon in her name, she's probably nuts.
Possible, with some even comparing him to Brian Laundrie, the man who murdered Gabby Petito. Here is Moonweaver again, lending credence to these comparisons. I remember this case. I truly hate the world we live in and how entitled men enable each other to be. They really are unstable.
That's so rich coming from a girl, man. You can go on Twitter and say, I fucking hate all men, and you'll get like 10 trillion updates, man. Oh my God. It's so fucking cringe. How can you say
I recognize
with a
it miles
straight
away
face?
in his tone. My baby daddy was like this and definitely cried to his mommy that I put hands on him after he'd been doing everything he possibly could to intimidate me after catching him cheating. Much like this guy's ex, I got fed up and set his ass straight. It's not all men, but it almost always is a man. And it's all starting to come together at this point.
Almost always is a man? You only date men, I'm assuming, though. Like, that's retarded logic.
Tell of the century. I get it now. The reason she is so quick to defend a complete stranger who beats men is because she also beats men. It's always a man, huh? Except when it's you, Moonweaver.
Yeah, beating a
Except
man.
when it's you. And Moonweaver did have a lot of support, I fear, including this comment from Stormy Leto with all of the confidence of an alpha male podcast bro saying that this man was definitely not hit by an intimate partner, despite admitting that men are hit all the time by women.
I beg your pardon, what?
So close. Almost there. Swing and a miss, ma'am. And again, I do not know how she can be so confident in this conclusion because no part of his post history does disprove his claim. As I mentioned, I went through his post history ad nauseum. This dude went from a happy-go-lucky, laid-back guy to a low self-esteem, depressed husk of his former self. At no point does he contradict his original claim that he was hit by a former partner or change his story. Even in his replies, all he ever does is thank people who do show him support, offer gratitude, while making very crystal clear that no matter what, he would have never hit a woman or hit them back, even while being hit himself. This is just one man's story of having to go private and go into hiding after not being believed and worse, being blamed. But
I mean, this happens all the time in court. When people hear that there's a domestic dispute case, even your unconscious bias is automatically to assume that it was the man that hit them because men are more aggressive. Men tend to be the ones that are stronger. They are the ones that are pumped full of testosterone because they're naturally fucking pumped full of freaking manpower, right? But then when it turns out it's a woman, it's like, oh, well, what did he do to deserve it? Maybe he like cheated on her.
Fortunately, he's far from alone. There are so many precedent cases of men who have entirely lost their lives to this dynamic, and it deserves attention so that we can start changing the stigmas that keep men from being taken seriously. The first case that comes to mind at the very top of my head is the murder of Christian Toby Obumseli at the hands of his girlfriend, Courtney Clenny. You might remember this one.
I actually remember this. This was all over Twitter. This was fucked.
It's pretty recent, but Obumseli, much like this man, documented his abuse and tried texting other people.
30 stabs too? Yeah, and then they claim it's self-defense. That's what's disgusting. I hate the fucking people, like man or woman, when the killers are like, yeah, I did it out of self-defense. It's like, okay, you could have stabbed him once, but the body says there's 30 stabs. Yeah, well, he kept fighting, so I had to keep doing it. And it's like, you fucking retard. What do you mean you had to keep doing it?
Frequently.
You stab someone once and they're like, oh, fuck, like, ah, God, ouch.
Courtney was becoming more and more violent. Despite this, despite the fact that he was stabbed to death, despite the surveillance footage that showed Courtney beating on him without—
See, that's not playful. This is like I hate you type of vibe. Literally instantly clocking it in. The way she was shoving him?
Despite the surveillance footage that showed Courtney beating on him without him retaliating at all, just moments—
Oh my god, she's pulling his braids too. That probably hurts like a bitch.
—for his death. And despite the fact that Courtney Clenny had absolutely no defensive wounds whatsoever, all she had to do was tell police on the scene that it was self-defense, and she was immediately cleared. Courtney got to continue living her life, going to the beach, partying, creating OnlyFans.
You stabbed your boyfriend to death, and then you just go and post your butthole on the internet. Like, not unironically, but get the asylum. Get a straitjacket, send him to the fucking asylum.
Content for 4 whole months before she was finally arrested and charged with—
Oh no, I got caught, no!
second-degree murder. The next case that comes to mind is the case of Jodi Arias, who brutally murdered her ex-boyfriend Travis Alexander in a fit of rage after he dared move on with his life with another woman. This man was stabbed 27 times.
I've watched a lot of crime scene investigation and just general like anecdotal, not anecdotal experiences, but like actual real life documentaries. When women kill, it's fucking brutal. Yeah, like I know there's crimes of passion with men too, but like 80 to like 70% of the cases that I've seen with forensic files, you know, the stories from like the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, like it's 90% of the time if it's a woman, it's very likely a fucking like a passion crime, and it's always super duper vicious.
In the face, had his throat slit, and was alive for most of it. Just like Obumseli, Alexander feared for his life and tried to warn people that he was terrified of Arias, but no one took him seriously. They interviewed Arias the very next day, and she admitted that she was there for his death, despite them being broken up and her having absolutely no reason to be there, but all she had to say was, well, it wasn't me, it was 2 masked intruders. I just happened to escape. And then
with no
never
wounds,
tell anybody.
With no wounds, and she didn't tell anyone
what happened. So they let her go. Weeks later, they go, you know what?
Dude, fucking coppers, man.
Story actually didn't make much sense. Let's talk to her again. This time, Jodi goes, okay, you got me. It wasn't 2 masked intruders. It was me, but it was an accident. There I was, holding a loaded gun, like you do when you go and visit your ex-boyfriend.
Please don't tell me they let her go, man. Don't tell me they let her go after she admits that she comes to her boyfriend's house with a loaded gun.
Have a quick
As
chat
you do.
and then
Yeah, just as you do. Just go visit your ex-boyfriend. No, there's no ill intent in here. What the fuck are you talking about?
whoopsie daisy, pow, it just went right off
Whoops.
into his skull. Crazy.
Into his skull.
Right? Oh, and
Whoops.
27 stab wounds and the slit throat. I just got scared and panicked. Blah, you know how that happened.
Slitting the throat is crazy work, and then saying it was an accident. Oh, he just fell into it and exactly like horizontally cut his throat.
Just a total
Whoopsies.
accident. Right? And the police
Yeah,
were
he fell
like,
on my knife like 37
sounds good,
times.
and then didn't arrest her again.
Women can't live with them. Yeah.
They didn't arrest her after she admitted. Yo, L-coppers, bro. What the fuck? What did she do? Give him a blowy? What the fuck?
And people actually say that female privilege doesn't exist. A whole month.
Oh, it absolutely does. In cases like with I can't say the word. When a teacher and a kid are in relations, and then a female teacher is the one that's doing it to a little boy. Oh, it's like seen as like a nice thing. Oh, it's like, oh, he got some. That's awesome. Nice. Even South Park made fucking jokes about that. It's very true. Even if it's like actually still fucking horrible, obviously. Like it's so unfair.
Later, they finally arrest her, and even at trial, even after her several changing, contradicting stories, even though she also never had any defensive wounds, domestic violence groups and individuals still showed up to defend Jodi Arias and
these Karens literally have nothing better to do than defend a murderer, unironically. I mean, are we really surprised when women write to, like, convicted murderers? No, like, for real. I remember, this is, like, stuck in my head. I think it was, like, maybe 2.5 years ago. I talked about a guy that had, like, face tattoos, full body tattoos. He murdered someone, ran over their body, and then he got let go, and then he took 2 more women and then ran one over again, and then he finally got sent to jail, and there are still women writing to them being like, free this guy, he would never do this to me. Yeah, Wade Wilson, I don't actually remember exactly what the case was, but I'm pretty sure he ran them over like 3 or 4 times. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? They're like, oh my god, he's just like the Deadpool guy, he's so awesome. And because he's like a bad boy and he's not inherently unattractive, all these women were like sending him like panties in the mail and like saying like, oh, I love you. Yeah, he had a swastika on his I think on his brow as well. Like, bro, like, oh my god, he can change. Karens are so dumb, man.
Claimed that it was actually Travis Alexander who was the bad guy and made her act that way out of reactive self-defense. Luckily, after 3 whole days of deliberation, the jury finally understood the evidence enough to charge Jodi Arias with first-degree murder and sentence her to life in prison.
Good.
There are a lot more cases I could reference, but I think you're getting the point.
That's the most recent
I'm not going
one,
to deny that men make up for more violent crime than women do, but I definitely think it's ridiculous how often we just do not believe that female perpetrators and male victims
It took them 3 days of deliberation. Yep.
Not saying like there aren't assholes out there that do
severe
harm to women. Not saying that there aren't guys out there. Those guys should be put underneath the freaking jail. They should get stumped the hell out. I grant you that. I think any rational person can understand guys like that are scum of the earth and deserve to get their ass kicked and thrown in prison. So, ladies, if guys want to grant you that, can you also grant to us that psycho bitches out there should not be getting no advocacy movement and should be raked over the coals and put in a psych ward for the crap that they pull? Can you at least grant us as men that?
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna bring race into this too. It's because she's a white woman too. So it's because she's a white woman. Yep.
It's always females have their own autonomies and their own
white woman. As a white woman myself, one of the biggest privileges ever.
Own identities until it comes to taking accountability for their own violent actions. It's always we care about all domestic violence survivors until one of them has a Y chromosome. If you're like me, I'm sure your cortisol levels are way too high, so let's wrap this up.
I'm used to
If
it.
there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Men don't fail to come forward because nothing bad actually happened to them, or because toxic masculinity made their egos too big to talk about it, or because they actually did something wrong and have something to hide. They're not coming forward because they already know what happens next. They already know that the first question they're going to be asked isn't, are you okay? It's going to be, what did you do? It's just the male version of, well, what were you wearing? And neither of those are even remotely appropriate.
Yeah, I think more men should actually use that line. You know, that's like, okay, well, if a guy did harm to you, like, what were you wearing? Oh, you don't like that? Well, stop asking, like, what did you do? Because that is, like, an legit insulting that you just assume that, oh, I must have done something and just inherently wrong to deserve the response of that lady. So, would you feel inclined to feel very bubbly inside with the fact that, you know, a guy will use the words, oh, what were you wearing? Like, would that make you feel any good when you feel like, or if some harm had done to you and somebody say, oh, basically, oh, you must have deserved it because, like, hey, you was wearing this. Nobody likes that. So, by that same ethos, no guy likes to be like, oh, you must have done something because you deserved it. Women don't just do things because women can be malicious in any kind of factoid or any by any stretch of the imagination. Like, no, that's impossible.
Responses to someone telling you they've just been harmed. That's a reflex that...
Yeah, or like saying someone's ugly so like they didn't get SA'd. Like, I think that shit is so fucked up. It's the same thing, just different variables. Oh, you're too ugly to get R-worded. It's like, okay, bro, like that's not a good argument, but okay.
Doesn't protect victims at all.
Oh, you're a man? Men don't get R-worded. No, they never do. They're the ones that are always doing it. No, that's a retarded argument. What are you talking about? Yes,
and if you've ever been guilty of this, it's time to dig deep and maybe unwork some of that reflex. And if you ever see someone being guilty of this, it's time to call them out. Because if harm only matters when the right person is hurt, then this has nothing to do with justice. It's all about optics. You don't have to like someone to acknowledge that they didn't deserve violence. You don't have to approve of someone's post history to oppose assault. If we actually claim to care about ending domestic violence and ending intimate partner violence, then it can't be conditional on gender or likability. Based. It can't be a popularity contest. Because until this changes, a lot of men are going to keep doing exactly what this guy did. Disappearing quietly, licking their wounds alone, and deciding that silence is safer than honesty. And that should make us all very afraid. Thank you so much for watching this all the way until the very end. This is...
you know, guys know full well they can't retaliate, because if any dude pulls stuff on that, like that, or another dude, there will be like a straight up fight. Somebody will have to go. But because there's a female, like I'm not advocating for this, but at least once again, it was never cool if it had went down like that. But there, back in the day, there was an understanding, like, this is a man, I better like watch how I'm speaking with him, how I'm behaving around him, because he can choke the living life out of me. He will snap my neck like a twig if I don't like mind myself. There's like the twinge of respect mixed with fear, knowing full well this guy is a man. He's a good man to me, but still a man nonetheless. I need to behave myself around him and show him some respect. I can have my disagreements with this man, but I'm not going to step out of line with this man. Because I know he has the capability to do me harm if something transpires. Because if I step out of bounds, when we remove that fear away from girls, pretty much, you know, calcify men in general to the point where it's like, even if the guy raises a disagreement with a woman, she can raise all holy hell with no accountability, and society will reward her for it and punish the guy for it. Oh my God, you told a girl that, you know, she shouldn't be wearing like, sexualized clothes. Oh my God, you're isophobe. You should feel ashamed of yourself. You must hate your mother. It's like, guys can't raise any issue. Guys can't be a man. In the same breath, they wonder, where are the men at? You punish them for being men. You punish them for going on their instincts, handling business like a man. You punish them for it, to the point where Jerry O'Connell can't even address his opinions to his wife and daughters without them attacking him. That's what happened. That's why guys are quietly walking away, or taking themselves off the plane of existence, because they can't just be real without any kind of backlash or tears or upheaval of their lives, because women can't handle it. They can't handle being challenged or putting their feet to the fire. Most can, but like there's too many that can't. And those type of women that are in these certain spaces, like business or the political space, to make all these rules, or at least marching, make some stupid march with some stupid pin, so like, oh, men can't do this, men can't do that, and it's like free women, and it's like all this little rhetoric crap, and you can't do that. Guys can't, just are left with these choices, taking themselves off the plane of existence, quietly walking away, or return, or be beta bitches and just agree with everything that women say and do with no pushback. At least in the past, those were the options, until there were men's advocates groups out there who say, like, no, this is wrong, guys have a voice too. These kind of things should not happen to men. That is not right. But these people are either considered misogynist or have internalized misogyny. If there's females who speaking up for men, they call them like pick-me's and all this other stuff. When they point out the dark side of females that society has, or at least political realm has removed any sense of consequences, and of course, what would you think? They wouldn't take advantage of that. Oh, I can say what I want to a guy and not be held accountable? Give me some of that. Why would you think they wouldn't have taken advantage of that? But anyway, that's just my thoughts here. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. I will see you guys for the next one.